Back on the corner, I'm singing the blues. I can see my reflection in the shine of your shoes. Like mama used to say, no news is good news. And I'm back on the corner again. Back on the corner, got my seeing eye dog. As blind as justice, and as hungry as a hog. Feel like a prince, but I look like a frog. And I'm back on the corner again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Perfectly Good Podcast, your podcast on the internet that is going through every John Hiatt song from A to Z. Joining me on the corner singing the blues is my podcast sister, Sylvan.
Hello, Jesse. And just for the record, I will never sing on a corner or maybe in the corner of the shower, but no worries, podcast listeners, you will not be subjected to my voice.
I'm sure it is lovely. We are in the B's and we are back on the corner.
On the corner.
Yes. So
Master of Disaster.
Yeah, give us just the facts.
Just the facts. So this is the closing track on Master of Disaster, which was released in 2005. It's one of the New West records, and notable for being John being backed by the North Mississippi All-Stars, who I think really put a stamp on this. I can't listen to this and not picture Cody Dickinson with this little drum kit and Luther kind of hanging out doing his thing. Aside from that, I have not found any covers, unfortunately. And that's about it, actually.
So this is one I did not spend a lot of time with. So this was fairly new to me. And I think it's okay. I'm not sure how I feel about it in the scope of John Hiatt universe.
It's interesting that we're starting on that note. Can I ask you a question, Jesse?
Sure.
Have you ever heard John perform it live?
No, I have not. So do you think this is one of those songs? Do you think that be one of the, like, if you could hear it live, it would rise in your your excitement?
I think so, because there is something about how the band members play off of each other. They kind of talked about the sound being like a Depression era Salvation Army band, and I think they do almost slip into another dimension when they play together. And I think part of maybe you're not connecting it with it so much is because it's one of the rare songs that it doesn't really sound like John is singing about himself. Maybe it's because by 2005 he had reached that Americana icon status that no one was saying, no one knows who this guy is. He could literally be standing on a corner singing for a supper and it wouldn't make any impact. People knew who John Hiatt was. So this kind of a down and out character that he's playing seems disconnected. But I think it's a really effective little vignette of a short story that falls on its own. And I won't push too much on there without hearing more of your thoughts.
No. Please continue on. I'm now trying to. I did not Google to try to find a live version. I should have, I guess.
I don't even know if seeing it or hearing it live, like a recording, would do the justice as to watching John's face as he's kind of in this character. And again, the North Mississippi All-Stars were such a fun band to see. They actually opened as the North Mississippi All-Stars, and they're a great fun band. They're one of those, like, if you put the CD in your car, careful that you don't get a speeding ticket, because they're just gonna take you down the highway. Um, and and then this song, I think he would often end with it, because it does have that kind of like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here kind of vibe to the feeling. Um, sorry, I'm not quite sure where I was going with that, but it's, if you can just kind of get into the little bubble that this song creates, as opposed to seeing it as a much longer journey, like when we were talking about our last song being part of Stolen Moments, that is an album that is one story all the way through. This is kind of separate from the other things that he was talking about, but it's almost like the alternate version of John. If he didn't find the audience that he found, if he had his addiction struggles, but still somehow had a guitar in his hand, he would be singing for a supper at 12th Street and Vine. And there's so many fun little metaphors and twists of phrase in here, which he had kind of not been doing as much in his songwriting. He had kind of put away the clever for the straightforward, I think. Feel free to argue with me. I feel
No,
like
no,
those
no.
were the,
So
fighting words for our listeners that are going to come at me like,
no, this is once again, this is one of the where I go, okay, pause. I've got to go listen to it again. So why, as you're talking about this, I'm picturing Jerry Jeff Walker's Mr. Bojangles.
Gotcha.
That, and the idea, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band did a version, Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, the world has covered Mr. Bojangles, but the idea, right, that I'm back on the corner, got my seeing eye dog, he's blind as justice, hungry as a hog. I feel like a prince, but
Great
I
line.
look like a frog, right?
Great line.
It is a great line. And hell, I don't even know how I got here this time. So, we did Almost Fed Up with the Blues a few episodes ago. So listening to you describe this is more of a, I'm okay, right? This is,
yeah.
I've got my
The
guitar.
blues and I are getting along fine. Yeah.
I've got my guitar. I've got my corner. I've got either my hat or my guitar case open to take donations. And, now I'm going to go really, really overly depth, right? I used to take 7 pills just to get up in the morning from 7 different doctors with 7 different warnings. And he's like, I forgot all that. Now then, I'm just back playing music. And that is the medicine I need. Do you think that could be partly what he's saying?
I do. Or just that, that I don't know if it's necessarily saying that he's healed, but that he'll be okay with that. And there's a certain lowering expectations through the song, which we're, as Americans, we're taught, want more, want better, as you're advancing through your career, it's always about the next step. And I think he kind of plays on that. Every long drawn step it took to get me here was full of best intentions, bright hopes, and good cheer, with dreams made out of silk lined with silver and gold, too beautiful to mention, too heavy to ever hold. And like he is saying, like, I used to wish for all of that luxury and greatness and so forth, but it was too much. And so here I am with just me and the guitar on the street, and I'm jumping ahead lyrically, pardon me. I also just love how he ends that I'm back on the corner with the pimps and the whores. At least I know what they're standing here for. She smiles, tips me $1, and I play her one more. Like it is so unaffected and so non-judgmental of both himself and his audience that like, hey, no judgment here of like, you're obviously not here because you think this is a rare opportunity to see a brilliant folk singer. You're here trying to earn a living, and not the most savory of ways, but you're still listening and I'm still seeing you. I think it's that the witnessing the underbelly and the here you are back on the corner. It's like you're looking around and you're saying, maybe we thought we were going to move past this. Maybe we thought we weren't going to, break or fall, but
So
it doesn't matter.
yeah, as you were talking, I started thinking about Down on the Corner by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Mm-hmm.
Down on the corner, out
Mm-hmm.
in the street, Willie and the pool boys are playing, bring a nipple, tap your feet.
Mm-hmm.
We just discussed an episode before of where, he, in back of my mind, he talks about he took a job, he took a wife, he took a bottle of wine. On this one, he's saying, I lost my address, I lost my wife, I lost my children. Hell, I even lost my knife. Right? But if you trifle
I
with
think it's
me,
lost my life.
yes.
What is it?
Yes.
Okay, lost my knife. Yeah. Okay.
But if you trifle with
Trifle my.
me, it's my life against your life, back on the corner again. So, I have nothing left except my music and what I'm doing. And so
Right.
you don't want to trifle with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and then he goes on to say that his friend is a pigeon who happened to fly off,
yeah,
and made a false promise of he's coming back. And gee, I don't know when I'm going to see that sweet pigeon again. That kind
yeah,
of makes me sad.
yeah.
But I spent many a day in my wasted youth hanging out in an area of Cambridge called the Pit in Harvard Square.
Okay.
And I think part of my love for this song is I feel like a pit rat could have written this song. That, here we are in this grubby little part of the city again. And what we're finding comfort in is the familiarity of our life and the fact that we're not here alone, that many of us can relate to these feelings, and that someone might hand you $1 when that's really all they've got. So I don't know. There's definitely a community in the street people that I think John may have unintentionally captured here, but it spoke to me and it kind of warmed its way into my heart for that.
So as we talk about, right, this also, as we're talking about, right, they just on TV, the Grammys did a tribute to Paul Simon, and the boxer has that lyrics, right, where where it says, I get asking only workman wages, I come looking for a job, and I get no offers, just to come on from the whores on 7th Avenue. I do declare there were times when I was so lonesome, I took some comfort there. This singer is saying, I'm with my people. We are here. I'm playing a song they want to hear. They're tipping me the $1. I don't need the address of the trappings of this conventional life. And I'm back on the corner doing what I want to do. I did
Yes.
not see that till you talked about it. And since then, I like this song more than I thought I would. Uh,
Okay.
because because I know where I'm standing, right? I know
Mhm.
what they expect me to play a song,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm here to do. That's what I want to do. This is what
Yeah.
brings me joy.
And just to loop back to the first verse, I can see my reflection in the shine of your shoes. That is like so fitting with all the things we're talking about of being comfortable, about maybe not quite fitting into society. Like I see myself reflected back from this polish, this shine that you put on yourself. And which of those things is authentic? The, fact that you have shined yourself so that it's literally a mirror for other people, or the fact that I know who I am and I can see myself even in contrast to the put togetherness of the people passing by.
And one of the things I did notice when I was listening to it today, and just once again to remind everyone, what we usually do is we put these songs on repeat. He does have a joy in his voice as he's singing this one. And so I could see now that live with that band, that little twinkle in his eye and that kind of smirk as he's doing this, I could see how this would be a lot of fun live. They're enjoying themselves.
Yeah. And, like, I, to me, it always embodies the, like, he'd be doing what he does, playing music, writing songs, no matter what. And the fact that he gets to do it and people show up and listen to him is the bonus and the great joy for John Hiatt. So I think this is almost him saying, hey, thanks a lot for making it so I have a tour bus and, a nice hotel room every now and then. So I'm not sitting on the corner with pimps and whores, but
Yeah.
I'd be doing it anyway. And,
Because I remember back I think it was during the pandemic, where he and Lily did like an Instagram or, a Facebook Live or something. And she seemed upset that he had never won a Grammy, and he, it was
yeah.
like, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the feeling was, you know, little girl, my wonderful darling, I have been able to raise you 3 kids and
Right.
do this for a living. I don't need
Um,
awards.
yes. And I wish I could remember the organization that put that on. I think I was at that same live concert,
Yeah.
probably in a different breakout room,
Yeah.
Jesse. And when he said that, I was thinking, I'm so glad he feels that way now, but darn it, I remember the very first time he was nominated for a Grammy, him talking about like, oh my God, I'm in with
Yeah.
the in crowd and I can't
Yeah.
believe it finally happened. And like, okay.
Yeah.
It's good to have the perspective, but yeah, we go through phases of our lives that we want more than we have, and then we are extremely grateful that we have more than we ever thought we could.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot to that.
I think so too. Any other thoughts?
Um, Only that it's really unfortunate that I couldn't find any covers, because I think this song is ripe for interpretation. All you musicians out there, give it a listen, put your spin on it. There's so many musical ways you could go, full orchestra, just you and a guitar, just a piano and a person. I'd love to hear many different versions of this. How about you?
Yes, I am. And now then I'm going to, I just did a Google search, and it does
Mm-hmm.
say back of my mind, but yeah. So yeah, So we got another back of our mind, but they don't have Back on the Corner again. No. I was excited for a moment. Uncommon Connection, but no. So that was it. All right. That was great. You go first on the score this time. It's your turn.
So this might be one that we, revisit, but I'm going to give it a solid 4. I love the storytelling of it. And, again, one of the ways that I come up with my ratings is if someone has never heard John Hiatt before, what is the likelihood that I would pick this song for them as an introduction? And I think this stands up to any of his great songwriting. There's so many cute little clever lyrics. It is a fun musical journey, and all the themes that we love John for are there. So 4.
Okay. So before we started, I was going to give it a 2. You have moved me up to a 3.
Okay.
So well done, Sylvan. Well done. That is awesome. Great. And now then, and this might be one, because I've now seen, I just did a couple of YouTube searches, and there's a couple of him doing them. It looks like not with a band, but with his guitar. So I'll check it. And when we're revisiting Bees, I may come back and go, hey, this is one that I may change. So good.
Okay. And now I know to go look for those as well. Great.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sylvan. As always, this is so much fun.
Thank you, Jesse.
If someone wants to reach you, how can they?
They can reach me at Sylvan Green Eyes on Twitter, as long as Twitter is a thing. I am Sylvan Groth on Facebook, and they can reach out to us to the Perfectly Good Podcast Facebook page or through our Google site. All our information is on there as well. So.
Good. And I am on Twitter still at Jesse Jackson DFW. We would love for you to go like and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. And Good Pods has been giving us very nice ratings, so I appreciate that. We'll be back next week with another song. And for now, Sylvan,
Have a little faith.
Have a little faith, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Baby, we can come on home, put the cow horns back on the Cadillac and change the message on the